Back another album review. Today's review is on the soundtrack for 2012. Before I talk about it, I need to briefly talk about the movie. The film was released in 2009, back when conspiracy theorists thought that the world was going to end in 2012. I heard from Pointless Hub that Roland Emmerich made this movie about the biblical flood. I remember when I first saw the trailer online, I got excited for it. And I got to see the film in the theater later that year. Although the critics didn't really like the movie, it was still a massive success at the box office. I did have a coworker who saw this movie, but not the day after tomorrow. And now for the soundtrack. It was produced and composed by Harald Kloser and Thomas Wander, and Roland Emmerich was the executive producer. The orchestra that performed was the Hollywood Symphony Orchestra. The orchestrators were Robert Alhai and Marcus Trump. The supervising orchestra was James Brett. The soundtrack was recorded and mixed by Sean Murphy. It was mastered by Louis Tarrant at Marcusson Mastering. The soundtrack was released on November 10th, 2009 on RCA Records. This does make sense because Columbia Pictures distributed the movie, and both companies are owned by Sony. Now let's talk about the songs. Now, this review will contain spoilers from the movie, so watch this review at your own risk. The soundtrack starts with Time for Miracles by Adam Lambert, which was released as a single on October 18th, 2009. The song is included on Adam Lambert's debut album, For Your Entertainment, which also came out in 2009. The song is played during the end credits. The DVD even includes a music video. While the song itself is alright, the music video is fucking awesome because Adam blows a bunch of shit up simply by singing. Most of the fire and explosions are actually scenes from the movie. Basically, you have a gay man who sang a song used in the movie, and a gay man who directed the movie. That's basically two giant middle fingers for all the dumb fucks that hate the LGBT community. Now, I'm going to leave a link to the music video in the description. And one more thing is that Rob Cavallo was the producer for this song. The next track is Constellation. The galactic alignment of the planets is what caused the disasters on Earth to take place. After that is Wisconsin. Now, later scene in the movie has Earth's magnetic poles switch, and the South Pole is moved to Wisconsin. Next up is U.S. Army. Jack and his kids climbed over a fence and were caught by the U.S. Army. Up next is Ready to Rumble. A boxing match took place in the movie. That's followed by Spirit of Santa Monica. Los Angeles was completely destroyed, and Jack managed to get his family to the airport, despite the fact the limo was all covered in shit. The effects were unrealistic, but they did look awesome. The best part of the whole movie is when the cement mixer crashed into the gas pumps to create a massive explosion. We follow up with It Ain't the End of the World by George Segal and Blue Mancuma. This track was played during one of the scenes on the cruise ship. Right after that is Great Kid. Jack had Gordon flying everyone to Yellowstone. Now, the following track is Finding Charlie. Jack got to Charlie Frost right before the Yellowstone supervolcano erupted. The track after that is Run Daddy Run. Jack got the map out of Charlie's RV and managed to get his ass onto the plane in time. The track that comes after that is Stepping into Darkness. Gordon flew everyone to Las Vegas. Yuri and his family just happened to have been there. The track that comes next is Leaving Las Vegas. They all boarded the Antonov of A500 and barely got the hell out of Vegas. The track that follows is Ashes in D.C. Washington, D.C. was completely covered in ash from the supervolcano. The track that's next is We're Taking the Bentley. Everyone on the plane except for Sasha got into the Bentley Continental. They started up and drove it out the back of the plane. What's next is Nampan Plateau. Yuri got tickets for himself and his son so they could board the Ark. But that selfish piece of shit only decided to bring his sons and their dog with them. What's after that is Saving Caesar. Caesar is the name of the dog, and Tamara and the others snuck onto the Ark. Shortly after Tamara grabbed him, she looked back and gave Yuri the finger, which I thought was the funniest part of the movie. What comes next is Adrian's speech. Adrian was a science advisor to the president. What comes after that is Open the Gates. The gates of the Arks were opened up and several people fell to their deaths. And Yuri also falls later. Next up is the impact. The tsunamis occurred, and one of them swept away Air Force One, causing it to strike the anchor attached to Ark 4 and dislodge it. Up next is Suicide Mission. Jack had help from his son Noah to get the cable out of the gears so the crew could set the Ark in reverse. It's followed by 2012, The End of the World. In early 2013, I saw some memes about putting the movie 2012 in the comedy section, but I never got the jokes. We follow up with Collision with Mount Everest. Ark 4 made contact with Mount Everest, but the crew managed to put the Ark in reverse. The second to last track is The End is Only the Beginning. The Arks made their way to Africa, the only continent that was unaffected by the disasters. The DVD includes an alternate ending where the Arks find the survivors of the cruise ship and rescue them. The scene ends with the Arks arriving in Africa. Personally, I think that the alternate ending is way better than the ending for the theatrical version. Now, the soundtrack ends with Fades Like a Photograph by Filter. In the movie, this track was played right after Time for Miracles. The way that they're positioned on the soundtrack makes them feel like bookends. Closer and Wonder helped Richard Patrick to write the lyrics, though Richard was the one who produced the song. A different version is featured on Filter's album, The Trouble with Angels, but I like this version better. This is also my favorite song on the soundtrack. There's no information available regarding how this soundtrack performed commercially, but 42 people on Discogs have the US version in their collections. Now for my thoughts. I think this is a great soundtrack. It's interesting that they got Adam Lambert to do a song from the movie, even though I'm not overly familiar with his work. He did get to be on Good Mythical Morning in 2019. Although he got to sing in that episode, he didn't blow anything up. What's even better is that they got Filter to contribute to the soundtrack. And those guys have been making music since the 90s. Overall, I highly recommend the soundtrack. Now it's part where I question you. Have you listened to the soundtrack for 2012? If so, what do you think about it? What's your favorite song from it? If you saw the movie, what do you think about it? And let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Be sure to press the notification bell to notify you of future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon with another review.